Okay. I'm gonna be on the later today. I'm gonna be submitting on Canvas announcement with video recording for the last time for the last class, so you can double check the rendering of the porch, the side view, the presentation. Also, if you want to double check some photos or information in the presentation. Okay. So, the camera. Okay. So I'm gonna start doing my first sketch so I can work later on the rendering. Understanding the volume. So I'm doing, in this case, I'm doing kind of a 2-point perspective. I'm almost in the front of the product. So I can start doing a little some lines, reference lines, as always, for my vanishing points. I can start setting up some distance and try to fit that in my working space. I can decompose my object, in this case, this little car, in like 2 boxes, like one box for the base part, on like the engine and the lower part of the cabin, and one box, a smaller box for the greenhouse. Okay. Remember, the greenhouse is like the windows and like the part of the cabin that I see from outside. Okay. So I'm defining like some reference lines here, like a regular box. And trying to find more or less the proportions on this, not to open the perspective. This line is almost the same as the horizontal line. So if I analyze my front end, it's gonna have like half of the side that I have on the side. So it's gonna be something around here. You see it? And I can also analyze the size of the wheel. That is gonna be important. Remember, the wheel is gonna be one of the main elements to get the proportions accurate, because it's one of the main elements that is going to be always in every car, right? And also, they're going to tell a lot of things, like if the kind of wheel is going to be like a sporty car, an SUV, or like city car, something like that. Okay. So I see I divide like different sizes, more or less, how much space are the tires using, and the height related to my box here. So maybe I'm gonna have my tires around here, more or less. So I have those reference points. I can have that line is gonna be related with the grid, so I can have another reference line here. And then I found out that the other box that I'm gonna be doing should be around here. So I can have some information for my vanishing point here, and some other information around here. More or less here, yeah. Then I can start defining some of the lines. What happened with my camera? Okay, much better. So you see, I have like barely like guidelines, very basic guidelines. I'm double checking that I still have some perspective, right? I'm seeing that maybe this pillar here is kind of more diagonal, so I'm gonna fix that. Maybe it's gonna be more something like this. I see that my windshield is kind of some roundness, so I have that roundness. Even I double check. This is just like guidelines, guys, so I can start double check that. I have a division here. To remember, if we are working in perspective, the elements that I'm seeing closer to me are gonna be bigger, and the ones that are gonna be far away are gonna be smaller. So probably my front passenger or driver, in this case driver window, is gonna be bigger. And then I start adding my, for example, the roundness. So I can start transmitting that using my line for the door, for example. So I can have that information into my side of my car, so I can translate this. This rounded here should be here, like little rounded, right? I see that my tire is gonna be like out here. So if I analyze, most of the times this line that is related to the line of my door is gonna have the center more or less of my wheel. You see? So I can start. Remember that we have been practicing ellipses and all that things. It's the time to use them and get some ellipses here. In this case, in my view, the star is a little bit like turning to the right. So it's gonna be a little bit bigger than my regular view, because I'm gonna see more from the side of the tire. So I can start doing this, something like this. You see how different are the sizes, but still having relationship between the rear and the front, right? The other thing that is important to keep is keeping track of how you're gonna see this tire. Probably is gonna be, I'm gonna see some part of the tire here, like some side of the cylinder. Obviously this one also, I'm gonna see something like this. And then I can connect also the other side, that in this car is very on the front. So I can even draw the whole cylinder. So I can double check my axis and the roundness of my tires. Okay? So you see I got the guidelines, the basic lines for my car. If I've set up this point related to my image of reference, this part is a little bit higher and a little bit like a square. I need to put it more, some more diagonal side. This line here and this line over here probably is gonna be the same, but it's gonna be shorter. So after double checking that, I'm gonna do a little bit lower my car, keeping up a little better proportions, not that much, maybe around here. And I start to understand what is happening with the form here. It's gonna be shorter. Right? So you can do another sketch, or you can do like erase just the part that we are not using. So I'm gonna be erasing this part because I'm double checking the proportions and I'm seeing, okay, it's a little bit lower. So probably need to cut a little bit the roof. Now I got better proportions and I can keep working on that, okay? Then I can use, if you see, for example, in this design that is very clean and very kind of basic, I can use the wheel as a reference for my front. So I can have this element kind of bigger. I can start decomposing that and seeing that actually is kind of bigger here and bigger here, keeping the proportions. I can start saying, okay, this headlight should be around here, and it should be aligned here with the vanishing point. And then I can see some roundness here, and I can start connecting some points. The same here. This line is gonna be important because this line is gonna define like all this side of the car, right? I can even draw this surface line that is talking me about this roundness. And I see also that this car, for example, have like those flare sides. So it make my car, like the tire of the car is a little out, like in a more sporty version. So I can move a little bit more my tire to the outside and create that element that is gonna be around here, right? So I got kind of reference for more or less where it should be at the same height, the one in the front. And I see that this one is creating a big kind of big side here, not that big, maybe like around here and closing here. So probably my tire can be a little bit bigger. I have some space here. There's this and there's this. And I can double check if maybe my tire should be a little bit to the back. So I can move it a little bit to the back. Right? I'm not using like any template today for the window wheels, more like intuitive, but it's part of the, like more sketchy. You can translate that easily and do it faster. Okay. Okay. Here. I got more rounds here. I got probably around here my handle, the door, like this. There is something in particular about this car that you see almost every side of the windshield. Like it's like very rounded here. So you can almost translate that information. This is a very particular detail on these cars, this partition between the side panel and also the front of the greenhouse. And I can use that information to get another line here and see how that one go all around and make another line like closing my whole group, right? Now I need to define even more these lines here that are kind of messy of my door. So I can start doing some more leading lines. To close and to make more details of my file. Okay, it's kind of smaller here. I got another element here in the back that is closing the car and it's going in this way, like in this direction. I got my gas cap here, and that's it. This is gonna be the end of the car. This is an interesting example because it looks like kind of basic, but it still have some roundness that we need to translate. We can exaggerate a little bit some details so we can have more information and more things to work on. Right? And this one is gonna be like more straight here. There is like you see like the middle should be around here, right? Always the middle is gonna be an interesting, an important reference point, especially in these classic cards that have always something like some elements here, like the logo. I have also my foot, and I start to double check and define even more some contour lines and leading lines. What is happening here with this part is gonna be like that. I got a bumper, a small bumper here under this. That is gonna be ending almost where my flare side fender. That should go more rounded here. Okay. I start putting some details on my elements from partitions. Normally this grill is something like this, like, but this version and this has like a strong border, like, or something like this. But in this case, I got like kind of rally inspired lights. So I can have something like this, more or less. gonna see a little bit on the side. Just define even more some outlines. And details that I maybe missing here. For example, this line of the body is going under here. I see part of the body under here, like this. And here, this kind of like this car has like this kind of agreement under the body. And I still see the tire like almost outside of the car. I'm gonna see the tire, the left right tire in this case. I'm gonna double check this element here that is part of this very particular design. I can add my, or here my mirror, side mirror, more or less something like this. Straight, rounded. Lines here to make the shadowing. Actually, the original design have like a line here, like a graphic element. Very used in lot of uses. Lot of cars used this line in the 70s and 80s, like decal or something painted. Okay, and we got the body more or less defined. You guys can follow me, or are you trying your own design, your own car? Let me see. This is very good, but the tire, you know, yeah, like, I like. Oh, hold back. Yes. Yeah, because then you are in the more or less accurate in the perspective. Okay. You see this one, it's like it's quite cheap at all, like 2040, very narrow area. Okay. And the tire, you see there, it's gonna be like this. The board, but you see the photo is gonna be the type of the project. And each one gonna be the there were people the car there, you see the tire is going to be empty, but outside the window. Okay, so that's what I'm saying about check the proportions, like you, the connection between elements. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. That's a nice one. I like that car. Conic. So this one is kind of okay, but fourth time doing something there, just always do like the overall thing, the overall volume. So with that volume, you can start understand better the proportion. And define, okay, the time that is this more and this bigger is definitely connected with this times. Yeah. So you start having more overall understanding of really good. Because if that's later here, then you're gonna find out there's gonna be weird in perspective. Okay. Okay. That's a nice one. Thanks. Okay. Great. Okay. Great. Good. Okay. Yeah. Just keep an eye on the proportions here. And start. Always the tower is gonna be closer to the observer, it's gonna be bigger because the perspective. All right. All right. Very nice. I'm happy to see different approaches. Now, one of the more like trickiest part when we are drawing cars is how to make accurate the rims that doesn't look like they're in a different perspective, right? So it's a similar situation as we got from the lens of the camera, remember? And we were struggling with that. So it's also kind of similar. So I can have the outside of my tire, it's gonna be like the side or like the cover of the cylinder. I can define a point where it will be my rim, more or less, a little bit bigger. And I define, okay, my rim is gonna start there. What I recommend is putting always inside, like really close to the end, like the center of the rim. A little bit exaggerated, but it's gonna be like the center there. And then from there, you can start taking out the spokes. You can have even another cylinder around another ellipse to get like another reference line. And then taking out the spokes like this, keeping more or less accurate, let's say like accurate, or kind of like this. You see? Don't make them too complex. And you start having that effect. This one is kind of tricky because it's gonna be more. I'm gonna see more from the start. That is gonna be like it's turning a little bit. So it's not the same as seeing like this from the side. Imagine this is the tire. It's not the same seeing this side, but it's different to see like more like this, right? You're gonna see more from the side. So I gotta do probably a bigger ellipse. You can attempt to try like this. So after trying and practicing and warming up a lot, you can have more or less a consistent circle or ellipse. And the same, we're gonna be doing the centers that are related with my center on the back, like inside, very inside. I can have again another circle like a reference. And I can start doing my spokes. I exaggerated a little bit maybe, but it looks like more, like scenographic, let's say. Can maybe do a little bit bigger spoke. So, because it's like, if you see most of the drawings when you're doing, what is important of this process? Now we are drawing just like real cars that actually exist, real cars that we can see on internet reference, on the street, whatever. But this is like in the process, this is the best way, as we have been doing also like actual products, actual cameras, actual blenders, actual copy makers, whatever. We use that information to make the representation on the drawings. And then with that experience that we are doing in our drawing and in our progress in the learning curve, drawing and sketching, we can use that information to create our own designs and our own drawings. So saying, okay, if the lighting is gonna be like this, if this rim is gonna look like this in this drawing, okay, my design should look like this, right? And you start doing your proper illustration. So this is the value of doing this exercises and assignments. Okay. Okay, I have my front tire. I got my bumper here. I got my right side tire. Let's see like the shadow. Probably gonna see something of my undercar, like suspension or whatever under here. I can go this more like this, maybe it's a little bit. I can erase some lines that I'm not using so I don't get confused. And more or less I got my sketch, right? It's like the kind of basic lines. I can double check some proportions here. I'm seeing here, maybe I can do a bigger lines here. Because if I see this space that I left here versus the one that I'm seeing in my screen is a little bit too much, so I can do this a little bit lower. Right? I'm missing there is a light here. I see that I start seeing some places that I can have some shadows. I can even draw some of the reflections like this. So I can have information where are gonna be the reflections. Um, I can even copy some of the information that I got from the inside, something like this, that I was gonna see from the inside. So I can have some, I can draw some like basic shadowing inside. check these lines, get more accurate lines here. I mean, smaller. More like this. I design some rounds here. So I'm not putting more detail for now. I'm just defining these basic lines. Let me give some more information here in these rims. And then I'm gonna go again to my markers. I want a little bit my halfway from the page. I'm gonna be this like this. So I go the center of the page. Perfect. That's great. There. That's there. So we started last time. I'm gonna start doing the dark sides with the marker. So I'm gonna start shading the lines that are gonna be darker. Double check the information with the lighting that I have on the photo. Probably some of the areas that are gonna be darker, maybe here. I can even start doing with darker with a darker pen to create contrast a little bit. Doing the place that's gonna be totally dark. For example, the space that is between my tire and my fender, side fender. So this time I'm doing also like the black parts, like very dark black parts, before so I can have some more contrast. You can start with the dark sides or with the light sides, but what we prefer, it's gonna be okay. So you see there is like a shadow in this part of the car. I got some blocks side. I got some dot next to this fender here. I got some shadows under the bumper. I got some shadows in this corner. What else? I can have some shadows here, some part of that. I can continue those shadows here. There's a little. I have a little shadows here. Shadows and there. On the sides, I got a little shadow under the windows. A little line there. Yeah. And some shadows on this front. Normally, I got some reflections. In this case, like it's next to a building or something, I got some shadows here in the hood. Really little lines. Are gonna be darker. One side of the door, it's like a little darker here. We want for the texture of this partition. We're gonna do another red card. This one is red also. So we're gonna use again the red that we used last time. What's this one? Card red. I not put it like many different tones because it's not that super dark. Maybe then later I can add some more extra darkness places. Probably some dark values over here. There we go with this rounded here. For the rims, I'm gonna use that, but I'm gonna start doing just the body. Okay. I'm gonna start applying the red on most of the car. Keeping almost everything in red. And the whole thing is gonna be red. I'm just leaving some spaces for the, remember, highlights as always. Some highlights that I need to show. I'm trying to do like every panel like this, so I can have like some lines if I need to, and they're gonna work like in that partition lines, and they're gonna be related to the body, so I can have those darker values when I start or finish the marker, like also part of the construction. Okay, gonna go here also red all around here. And this part, they're gonna be the highlights that are gonna start showing that roundness. So I'm gonna be doing like more continuous lines and try to keep like that space for the handle here that I can fix later. And for this part, I'm gonna do only some like some red parts, giving the space for the mirror. I can do this front here. Most of the hood like is gonna be highlighted, so I'm gonna leave that white. There is a highlight that I'm gonna keep here. This part gonna be red. gonna start going up these pillars, just taking care of my windows. Some red details here, and use my small tip to get that little areas. All right. Then I can do my tires, start doing my tires to get more contrast and to get like also that reference for my other elements. So I can do darker values on the one that's gonna show in this part of the tire, like the part of the tire that's gonna be on the roof of the road. And the one that is gonna be on the side can be a little bit lighter, so I can have a number 4. This one I can use a little bit darker, like this tire that is gonna be hmm, hold a little bit. Okay. Let's start doing using like a lighter or red for my for this part. I'm gonna have some light here. I can have a different tone. Same here. Of these elements, I have some light, so I can keep it. And now I can start adding some details with my pencil. So I'm going back to where some lines like here, like putting my mirror around here, some details of the roof. This line that is showing this partition for the body of the car. It's important, so I'll do it again. This partition here that I'm gonna see this partition here for the door. It's gonna be around here. Normally, this side of the like the outline of the window is gonna be black because have the like the joints and the board that is gonna be normally like rubber, so we can have that in black. I can even go from details and create like a bigger. In this case, I'm doing a kind of bigger lamps, little bits. My front grill with better proportion here than the sketch. I wonder. Remember these leading lines that are having shadow gonna be evident. In this case, I see a little detail on the end of the card here, like kind of shadow here. I can see some partitions here for this part. Mhm. So I can have like these spaces here in the rim, so I can have like some contrast. With that blank space between the spokes. Mhm. Using the grays one, creating some texture here. Remember, I will have some shadow from the on the top because of the light, how it's uh, affecting that. I can use my pencil to double check those details. And this one I'm exaggerating a little bit more the details of the rim, get like more space. So you see, this one is closer, so I can go deeper details here, showing which part is gonna be inside darker, and which part is gonna be part of the spokes and the design of the ring, of the wheels. And I can include more details. As always, I can add some texture with my pen, with my pencil, sorry, so I can have deepness. I like the texture that we can get with the pencils. Give like more expression to your drawing. I can start using some markers for the border of my window. Right, blue, see, blue, very true. So I'm using a little of blue to get that effect on the windshield and the windows. Um, Keeping also like a texture, so in one sense, so it got some reflection effect. I can improve that also later doing some applying some uh pastels and leaving this side like kind of clear for reflections, more or less. I can use some gray, dark gray to create some texture on my lights. Where should go my, the darker side of the lights. Then I can go with a lighter one. And I can start adding some details with my member, super black pencil. So once again, I'm gonna apply my pastels on the side, on the top of the hood, and I have some highlights on these flares and the flares. And then again, remember with my white pencil, I can detail the provisions, both sides. And then smoother lines of these sides. So it should look more or less like this. Let me put it next to it. See how's my rendering. So if I check, I have some issues with my proportions here, for example. It should be a little bit smaller. It's kind of weird, this line is kind of very a little bit off. So you see, even I have to improve. Okay, guys, so you can take a break now, 10 minutes break. When we came back, we can double check if you got any questions. If you have any idea, you want to develop any specific model, we can double check. See what's on, okay? Let's fix a little bit this line here. Be more like this. Let's with this one. This is smaller here. Like there is too much height. But more or less it's not such a yeah.
So just like how we started with like
Yes. That's what I was saying.
Can I see your line?
Yes, thank you both.
Yeah. I think
It's very real. I was trying to see if you guys, I was trying to see like if you guys like were totally. I think you were just like.
say later to look at projects, still got out. Like you really just did this and then you just keep it.
Wait, that's what you did. Looking for this?
Yeah, this was 1 point. You know, what's actually the. Honestly, they're going to buy the 12 series. What time? No. Like it's really all good, though. You go for bottom.
So this is the curve, so
Oh,
like,
like it's before cars.
yes, well, like, no, it's a French curve, it's like, they know this curve. You literally showing with this one, this is just like the perfect curve looking for.
Yeah. Pretty exciting. Yeah. Like every 2 weeks, turn around and get it. Like I just gave up.
I know.
What's next year? Oh.
Yeah, they said the car that we choose is either be like an order grab or expensive.
I think I'm.
Well, I just asked them.
Oh, you did?
After, yeah,
Okay.
it's like the one that we choose is have to be like the mini paper, just like choose each one.
Someone noted it. Yeah, move it around.
Okay, guys, if you like third, yeah. Okay.
A lot of times they have to do it. It's like, hey. I really want to go out.
Gonna let me know that in this table.
Yeah. David,
Yes,
how long have you been drawing?
draw it
How long?
like
How long?
20 years,
20 years.
more like 23.
When you start drawing cars.
Uh, well, drawing like more like seriously like 23, but cars all my life since I was a child.
No way.
Yeah, thank you.
Why don't you?
Okay, guys, so going back to, let me put this bigger. Going back to the side view that we made last class, I'm gonna show you something important regarding the wheels. No, what I was explaining last time is that you can have like a little effect on the side view. Let's say like this size.
I don't know where
Having this like center half a little bit up to the right, to the center of the car, like this.
now this.
This one I'm using the template to get like a better circle for my wheels. Okay. And then I can add some extra details like another, like another circle for my, like maybe the exterior part of my wheel. Something like this,
Yeah. That's actually different.
right? And from there, I can start doing the design that I would like to make. Let's say like this, like a basic, all the classics. Classic design, 5 spoke.
I think.
So you can have your black spaces, like more clear. You can have an extra hub, get more texture, can have some extra lines, to have more details in your rims. Probably this kind of detail like them look like, like Forget or whatever design. And then with a darker marker to the spaces. And then I can start adding some shades. Some of the parts of my rims. And then I can add the color that I have finally.
Didn't say anywhere.